everyone, and welcome to another episode of Radiance Central, and I'm your host, Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I want to answer a question regarding staying on your diet and eating with the family. I get a lot of questions about this, specifically that there's, let's say, one member of the family that wants to go on a diet, whether to lose weight or to get healthy or to deal with food allergies or some sort of health condition, things like that, and they're having a rough time because their family eats one way and they want to eat another way. So the first thing that I just want to say is that we can impose how we want to eat onto other people. Okay, like as much as we want our family to eat healthy, that's up to each individual. Everyone has their attachment to their foods, and it starts with you working on yourself and you taking responsibility in your own life and creating your own eating patterns first, and doing that, and then letting your family do what they need to do. And if they catch on and they want to join you, great. But you can't suddenly come home one day and say, okay, we're all changing how we're eating. We're not going to have this. We're not going to have that, because most people would get kind of upset. So the first thing is that when someone wants to go on a diet and their family doesn't, one thing that I want people to think about first is that the main meal of the day that people are eating together is dinner. Normally breakfast is pretty simple. If people have it together or not, it's an easier meal to prepare. And lunch, most of the time, there's usually either the husband or wife or the partner, one of them is going to work, either or else both of them are going to work, and in that case, most people are eating their lunch on their own. It's dinner time that's usually family meal, and so it's one meal out of every day. Okay, so just remember that. Now, when it comes down to dinner time, there's pretty much two options you have. Either that if you're preparing the food for your entire family, you make them their food, and then if you're having different types of food, you would prepare your own food separately. Okay, and you all eat dinner together, and that's how you do it. Or you can incorporate the food that you want into the meal. But one thing I suggest is that if, let's say, you're eating certain types of food and you make big portions so everyone can have it, I'd also suggest adding in some foods that they want to eat as well, so that everyone's happy and everyone's eating together. The one thing that I want people to avoid as much as possible is isolating themselves. I see this so much where someone wants to go on a diet and suddenly they're like, it's unbearable to eat with my family because I'm tempted, and so they eat at separate times, or they don't go out to dinner, they don't go to parties, they avoid any sort of social situation with food. And I want people to avoid that kind of isolation and separation, because the stress that comes with that, it only makes the situation worse, and it creates more harm than good. And over time, people then develop a lot of eating issues and food issues and stuff like that, and we want to avoid that. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are separating yourself and isolating yourself, then one thing to do is ask yourself, am I being too restrictive? Like, do I find every meal to be unbearable and a source of stress? Then ask yourself, what these rules that I'm putting on myself, or this diet that I've selected, am I restricting myself too much? And again, too, like, remember, it's usually dinner time that you have to, sort of deal with other people's tastes and desires and your own. And therefore, breakfast and lunch, those are things that if you want to stay on your diet, focus on eating good and healthy during breakfast and lunch. And when it comes down to dinner, find a better balance, and that might be that if you find that every day it's like a tug of war at dinner time with yourself over these foods that they're eating, and perhaps you make a lot of the healthier foods that you want to eat, plus have maybe a small portion of what they're eating. Just find the balance, especially on an emotional level. You need to not have your meals be a big source of stress. One thing too people always mention is snacking. That their family wants to snack on junk food and all sorts of stuff, and they find that to be very difficult, having junk food, things like that in the house. It's tempting. Everywhere they look, they see the ice cream and the cookies. with that, let's say, you want to eat healthy because you want to be healthy or you want to lose weight, then you need to sit down with your family and have a conversation about that. And to say, like, I'm having issues with having the junk food in the house. Can they either not bring it in the house, or can they bring it in the house but hide it somewhere, so it's not in your face? It's working together with these situations. And one thing I suggest with snacking is load up on healthy snacks in the house, because everyone does like to snack, right? So why not have a bunch of fruit and some nuts, and even create some healthier desserts, things like that, little treats. I do this all the time, like I keep my home always loaded with healthy snacks. I know my boyfriend, he loves to eat. And I know if I don't have this stuff around, he's gonna bring some weird stuff home. So I always just make sure there's things available that are healthier and we can both enjoy together. And he doesn't even realize that they're healthy. He just likes them. So that's something to think about too. The main thing is don't stress. Do not stress. The worst thing you can do is stress out about food. And it should be a fun and enjoyable experience if you want to get healthy and eat healthy stuff. But remember, it's about you. It's not about imposing rules on everyone. All right, so I'm wishing you guys a fabulous day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.